Lori Barrier, and I'm one of the English instructors here at Stanley Community College, and I'm here with today's segment of the Rhetorical Mode Strategy videos for writing. And I'm going to talk to you today about division and classification writing. It's just like what it sounds like. Anytime you divide something, you are separating something larger into smaller parts. And anytime you classify something, you are arranging those smaller parts into categories. And this is something that human beings do naturally. We do it every day. For example, on a Sunday, I might think to myself, oh no, I've got a really long, terrible week. I've got so much to do. But if I just take a deep breath and think, okay, I can divide my very long, terrible week into days and then classify what I have to do each day into smaller chunks, that's going to make my week a whole lot easier and make me feel a lot less stressed. So let's move to an example from literature. Since I'm an English teacher, I love English, I love reading, I also love to watch movies, and sometimes I'm asked the question, what's your favorite kind of writing? Or what's your favorite book? And that's really a huge question for someone who loves to read and who loves writing. And so I might want to think about, how am I going to break that big topic down? How am I going to break all the things in my head about literature and writing down into smaller, more manageable parts? And so here's one chart that I found. You could think of this as types of writing, genres of writing, or you can think of it as film, if you enjoy films and movies or TV shows. And so it's broken down into different parts. So we have mystery, thriller, science fiction, romance, and fantasy. And so if you look within those larger divisions, so that it has divided types of writing, genres of writing down, you can see how there are classifications under each division. So under the mystery part, it has police mystery, paranormal mystery, general mystery. And then if you look over in the thriller side, it has legal thriller, techno thriller, political thriller. And so it has given each one of those classifications a name. And so now if I think of each one of those smaller parts, you could put a film that you know or a book that you have read inside that smaller part. So if I look at the romance one, if I'm thinking about a TV show romance that I like a lot, one of them is called Outlander. Some of you, that's also a book series, so it covers both books and film. I think of that as a romance because it is a love story. And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, is it a contemporary romance? Is it romantic suspense? Well, what is it? And if somebody else has seen Outlander, they might say, no, wait a minute. Outlander is a love story, but it also has time travel. So if a story has time travel, doesn't that mean that it's science fiction or fantasy? Well, maybe so, maybe not. It depends on what your definition is for each one of those things. So if I were writing an essay about how to classify and divide these particular genres of writing, I would have to think about, how am I going to make that division for myself? If I'm thinking that the time travel element overshadows the romance element, I might want to put it more into science fiction. But if I think, well, the romance is really the most important part of the story, so I want to put Outlander in the romance category. But if you look over there, one of those little squares, the purple squares right beside the word romance, has paranormal romance. That's interesting. Maybe that fits Outlander best. Maybe it has an element of kind of science fiction in it, but it's still mostly a love story. So when you write a division and classification essay, you have to think about defining those terms for yourself. Let me give you one other example on a chart. One of the examples on the previous chart, or one of the divisions on the previous chart, was the horror genre. And so you could drill down into horror and make all these other classifications and divisions. And if you look up here, you can see someone has done just that. I did not make this chart, I just thought it was kind of neat when I found it. But you can see that it's divided into gore and disturbing, psychological, killer, monster, paranormal, zombies. And remember, all of these classifications and divisions are under just that one little square of horror, you can see how you can break things down into smaller and smaller parts when you classify and divide. And so if you want to look at something like classic and mythological, Frankenstein and Dracula, also excellent novels, but also multiple films have been made of both of them, so you could put that under classic. But there might be other elements of those two things that fit other categories, which is, again, why it's important for you to define how you want to classify each part of something that you are using to write your essay. Here's another example from writing. If you had a very broad topic, like if you were writing something in the nursing field or maybe for biology about a disease like breast cancer, that's a really broad topic, and so you might have to divide it into parts that are manageable, like symptoms of breast cancer or treatments of breast cancer, and then further research and break those down. This has been a discussion of division and classification writing in the Rhetorical Mode Strategy series, and I hope this helped. Thanks.